In the professional era, such are the demands on players both physically and in terms of their commitment that their welfare both during and after their playing careers is a major concern. Damien Hopley was capped 3 times for England and was a member of their successful Sevens World Cup side in 1993. But then 3 years later, disaster struck.
I was captain of the England Sevens team in Hong Kong in 1996, so just 25. And playing against Scotland, went to tackle Gregor Townsend, I think from memory, and my knee just sort of caved in, and I sort of tried to get up and run away, and yeah, there was a popping noise. It's a classic ACL tear, and realised it wasn't so good.
Hopley's worst fears were realised. Despite 8 operations and 2 knee reconstructions, at the age of just 27, he was forced to retire from the game. Shocked at the lack of support he'd received, Hopley decided to do something about it and set up the Rugby Players Association.
I set this up with no funding in my front room in West London back in August 1998, and I think that the objective hasn't changed since that day. It's all about trying to promote and protect the welfare and interests of our players. So for us, it's about when players come into the game at academy level, we want to be there to provide independent advice. We want to be encouraging them to continue their studies whilst they're playing, because there absolutely is enough time, despite a lot of protestations from players that isn't the case. But also make sure players take responsibility for their own careers, because there are a number of players, I think, move into a professional sports environment and they become quite institutionalised. A lot of things are done for them. And it becomes quite one-dimensional. I think it's sometimes hard to tell a 21-year-old he needs to start studying or needs to tear himself away from Call of Duty because he needs to think about the career after rugby. I was 25 when I got injured, and I thought I could run through brick walls until at least my sort of mid-30s. And for us, it's about trying to ensure that we give those guys the best possible opportunity to maximise not only their on-field earnings, but also what they're doing off-field and their careers for when they have to finish rugby, be that through injury early in their careers like I went through, or hopefully after a long and fulfilled career and they come out and they're able to transition into the second and probably more lucrative and more important part of their lives.
To keep up with the ever-increasing demands on players, the RPA set up the Player Development Programme.
Our work involves going into the clubs every single week, so I split my time between Wasps and Quins, sitting down with players to create individual development plans, which will inform us around the kind of support and plans that players have. So the support we can provide to players effectively and open up access to opportunities, be it in terms of welfare support or maybe career aspirations beyond rugby. There's no one-size-fits-all. You can go off into some wonderful examples of casework, from carpentry through to sort of being a pilot, through obviously the more stereotypical routes of coaching and teaching, also going into business as well. So it's a very varied role.
And we've had some great success stories of players who have studied successfully, who've got jobs successfully on the back of the programme, and obviously we want to try and create more and more momentum here, so that players identify rugby in England as not only an on-field professional opportunity, but also a profession that creates or prepares them for their life after rugby.
The RPA has come a long way in a short time, and in a professional game, there'll always be a need for such an organisation.
There are a number of key welfare projects that we want to do more of. And for us, we're very fortunate. We have 2 good stakeholders in the Premiership Rugby and the RFU. They support our programmes, they understand what we're trying to achieve, and they get it. And that makes our life a lot easier. It's not always plain sailing, and there are times when we do clash heads, but the important thing is we're all trying to get to the same end goal, which is create the best league in the world, but also the best players around role models, around what they're doing on-field, off-field, and ensure that rugby can uphold that great standing it has within the sporting world.